Hello, hello, hello. Whew. I'm not sick, y'all, man. Everyone be getting sick in this city, but I'm not getting sick. If you're new here, welcome. This is Off the Dome. Here we speak off the dome. This is a very authentic podcast. We try to stay away from AI. And sometimes I'm like, dang, should I stay away from AI? Because AI is so prominent in everything we use. And it kind of reminds me of the cell phone because it's like, man, maybe I should use AI. Maybe I should like you can't really live life without a phone. So it's like maybe I should use AI, but until I feel like it's necessary, we're not gonna do it. We're gonna try and stay authentic as possible. And here we're speaking off the dome, and today's topic is about expats and friendships. And are they good? Are they bad? Do you need them? Do you not need them? Yeah. And I want to say, I am an expat. I've been an expat for about 4 or 5 years. I've had the opportunity to live in two countries in Spain and Colombia. And I know how it feels. I know how that feeling of you find your friends. I know that feeling of you see someone with the same connection of that you guys have. If you are, let me see this. Okay, anyways. But yeah, for me, I've had the opportunity to, help many expats, meet many expats, learn from them, ask them advice, this, that, and the third. And it's awesome to be in a place where you are, you know, you're not the usual, you're unknown, you're a foreigner. And it's amazing to see someone and you guys have an instant connection. It's like a explosion in your body, this rush of happiness, this rush of comfort. Your body is in a place where you're stressed, you're uncomfortable, you don't know the culture that much, and boom, you see someone and it's awesome. It's a great connection. And I'm all for these connections. I understand we all need help, we all need community, and sometimes it's hard to find community as a foreigner, especially if you're a new traveler. So I'll say if you're a new traveler, having that community is extra important. Why? Because you can jump off the cliff, but dang, like it would be nice to have some help. It would be nice to know where to jump. It would be nice to know how to jump. And I will say it's been a blessing to find other people in your shoes, because they're going to help you so much with whatever you need, with maybe visa problems, maybe with apartments, even just learning the culture. They are there as a stepping stone for you to really thrive in your own environment in that city. And I will say that, like, if you're a beginner traveler, it is absolutely necessary, because it's going to be easier for you to make decisions. It's going to be easier for you to, you know, relax, release the stress, because every time um, you go to a new city, you go to a new country, it's hard. And if you're not social, if you're not so extroverted, you might just stay to yourself. You might just stay in the house. You might just, not even try, because you see it's so hard. So if you're a beginner traveler, no problem. Have a couple friends. Go to those outings, those expat outings. Use Facebook, use WhatsApp group chats, Facebook group chats. Go to language exchange places, meet more expats. That is important. We need to feel the love, camaraderie when we're in a new country, just to make sure that we're, doing the right thing. We all have an agenda of why we want to travel. We all have an agenda of why we want to be here, and if we can find someone who has a common interest as us, it can make us be good in the city. Maybe your expat friend has, you know for local friends. Boom, you connect with him. Boom, you meet one of their friends, and boom, you're in a circle. So sometimes it's nice because you can kind of attach to this friend group. Oh, you seem cool. Let's hang out. Oh, you see, you guys are friends. Oh, I'm going to this party Saturday night. You want to come? Okay, yeah, I'll come. You're gonna go. You don't know anyone else. You're gonna go to the party, and I think that's special. That's awesome. It's awesome to have people in your life that do that. Who see you as a person, who sees you as an amazing person. They want to have fun with you, and then they invite you to do things. I think that's incredible. And also, it's just gonna make you feel more confident to do it on your own. That's what I'll say. I feel like after being with them, seeing how easy they integrate with the culture, integrate with the language, it's gonna build your confidence. And we need to be around people who are doing better than us, who are thriving, so we can also have that motivation, also have the discipline to be like them one day, to thrive in a new community, to thrive in a new culture. I 100% believe that. All right. Now the other side of it, is, for me, you can only have so many. Like I said, you're in a new country, new culture, new language. We're not in the United States anymore. We're not in Chicago. We're not in NYC. This is not Brooklyn. This is a new environment for you. And why did you try to go to this new place? For what? To meet expats? To meet gringos? Stop playing with me, bro. Stop playing with me. You did not go there to meet gringos. So why are you trying to relive your life that you had in the United States? Okay? So for me, obviously, one or two expat friends are blessings. They're amazing. Without them, I don't know where I'd be right now. Just to have that comfort, it's nice. I will say it's important, it's nice, it's amazing, and I recommend it 100%. But I will say, if you get too comfortable, you will not ever go into this new culture. You will not ever meet new friends. There's this, I don't know the exact term, but it's like a English bubble. And this happens very often. My first couple years in Spain, I lived in Sevilla, and I got some great friends in Sevilla. Hey, if you're watching this, shout out to y'all, bruh. And I love them. They took me in. They showed me their friends, showed me their lifestyle, took me to the parties, and I met so many people. And I'll be forever grateful for them because they gave me confidence that I can live abroad. I can live in a new city. I can meet people like that. And I am extremely grateful for them. The only thing I'll say is, because it was so easy, because it was so nice, I stayed attached to them. And, as my friends, usually you stay attached to your friends. I'm not saying, but they're your friends. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, for me, if I want to become my best self in this city, I really have to get away from the English culture. Get away from the English friends. If I want to build a new Darcy in this city that's going to thrive with the country, with the culture. And being with people from the same country as you all the time, you're just not going to grow as much as you need to when you are living in that city. You're going to be as good as long as they're there. But what if they're gone? What are you going to do? Did you think about that? What are you going to do? So, I think my speaker just died, bruh. That shit is so irritating. Did it just die, bro? Oh, it's back on. Bro, you gotta stop playing with me, bro. I swear. Lost my train of thought, but yeah, for me, I really thrive on being unique, being myself, and I accept the challenge. I don't want it to be easy. I don't want to meet gringo friends and then for me to be like, oh, let's hang out. Oh, I have friends. Okay. I want to do the challenge myself. And whenever I meet other expats, especially in Cali, Colombia, I have a few friends who are expats and I love them. And they're my friends, but maybe strangers, it's going to be rare you see me want to engage with them. Also because it's always the same story. That's why I'm like, if you're a beginner, cool, whatever, I get it. I help you help me, we talk, da-da-da, boom, boom, boom. But I've been abroad for almost like 5 years now, and I am not going to always look for expats. Oh, where you going? Oh, what you doing here? Oh, how you do this? How you do this? Oh, apartment. Oh. And it's almost like a trauma bond. Because there's only one of us in the city. There's not many of us in the city. We cling on so hard, and we trauma bond. We talk about the stress. We talk about the new culture. The thing that I hate the most, I know it just has to happen because it just has to happen. Oh, my thing turn off again, bro. Whatever. But anytime you are with people from your same country in a new country, but we always talk about how bad the country is and how it's not like this country. Like anytime I was with some gringos in Colombia, I'm like, man, people here, da-da, oh, the food here, da-da, da-da, oh, why, like, it turns into like a comparison match, and it's so funny because you hear the other tables, you're like, what's going on? But that happens every single time, and I also am tired of that too. I'm not trying to always talk about the comparisons. I'm not always trying to talk about America. I'm not always trying to talk about that stuff. I'm trying to talk about different things, and that's why I came here, to be away from that life, to be away from those type of people. I hate to say it, but I'm not saying those type of people are bad people, but for me, I'm not trying to have that same conversation 20 times. I'm not. I don't care about your apartment. I don't care about your visa issues. I don't care how you think this city is good. I know it's good. That's why I'm here. Like, I'm sorry, bro. I do not care. I do not care, bro. And that's what I think is a problem. Obviously having expat friendships abroad is amazing, but at the end of the day, we have to learn how to jump alone. We have to learn how to be alone in the culture. They're not always going to be there. They're going to be gone doing their own things. And what are you going to be when they're gone? So friendships were nice. It's important, but sometimes it's a trap. Sometimes you're going to be in this bubble for the rest of your time in that place, and you're never going to get to grow as much as you want to. And then when the time finishes, you're going to be like, you go back home, oh, how was it? Did you have any friends? Did you have any Colombian friends? Did you meet anybody? And you're going to say, oh, I met these friends. They're from, United States. Ah, cool. What about the country you went to? What about, China? Your Chinese friends? No, I just met my English friends. And it's just like, what was the point? What was the whole point? Obviously, this is what I'm saying, man. Like, being comfortable, cool. But being comfortable doesn't get you to growth. Remember, we have to stay outside our comfort zone. Remember, we can't grow if we're comfortable. Remember, we have to fail. If we're being comfortable, we're not failing. If it's easy, we're not failing. This is how we grow. We need to create experiences in our life that show us we are willing to grow, to learn, to be abundant. And once you're in these English bubbles, you're not doing anything to exponential your growth. And it's just unfortunate. It's unfortunate it has to be that way because, it's like, oh, you don't want to talk to me because I'm American. It's like, yeah, I don't want to talk to you because you're American, bro. I did not come to Cali, Colombia to talk to someone from New York, bro. like I did not do that. Like, who does that, bro? And yeah, so, have your couple friends, but try to build your own empire. Try to build your own kingdom. Try to build your own life through the culture, through the city, through the food, the music. That is how you truly experience and truly enjoy a new culture. Being immersed fully. English bubble, you're going to be immersed 20-30%. Also because you're speaking the language. And that is why English bubble is also difficult, because it's going to force you to stay in that same language that you speak. So you speak English, you meet some friends, you're speaking English all the time. You're not going to have any time to practice your language. You're not going to have any time to speak, because you're talking to the same people all the time in English in another country. And it's like, what is that, And I'll be honest, it's hard sometimes. You know, sometimes I be talking English every day, and I don't even care, bro. But that's just because I know the language. I studied it. Obviously, it's not perfect, but you know, I'm not gonna sit here and say like, oh, my Spanish is perfect, my Portuguese is perfect, because you know sometimes you just want to speak English, and that's okay. But man, that's all I have to really say about that. It's just like, you know, please, you know, try, do, fail. There's no problem with failing. Failure is going to help you bounce back twice as fast. So, you know, don't be afraid to be alone. Don't be afraid to reach out to new cultures, new friends. Don't be afraid to get out of the English bubble, because English bubble is nice for maybe a few months, but why did you decide to leave the country? Why did you decide to live abroad? Why did you decide to come to this place? To be with English people? I didn't think so. So you have to really look at yourself in the mirror and be honest with yourself about your motives and things you want to achieve while you are here. And yeah, that's all I have to say. You know, expats, friends, they're amazing. Community is great, but we have to figure out what exactly we want in this lifetime, in this city, for us to be happy, essentially, for us to have joy. You know, if you have joy being with your English bubble, more power to you. More power to you. But if you are itching for something else, then you have to be aware and leave that bubble and go find what you're meant to find. So I'll leave you with that. You know, I love you guys, and it's always going to be hard to find friends, even when you're older. You know, you get more weird. You know, once you hit 30, you're like as weird, as cringy you can get. So it's always going to be hard, and that's why it's also difficult, because you're just like, damn, I have no friends. At least I got this dude talking English, da da da. But, you know, that's life. You know, you don't always need a lot of friends anyways. So there's that too. But yeah, man, I love you guys. I'm proud of you guys. I believe in you guys. I'm here for you guys. You know, and we're gonna be in this together. So if you're thinking about living abroad, hope you like this video. Like, comment, subscribe, share. Tell me what you think. What are your thoughts? And until next time, off the dome.